So disclaimer, I do not know every single thing that happened behind the scenes. I do not know if when they met up, if he was molested or if he acted inappropriately towards him. I do not know these things. What I do know is what I can prove using the evidence I discovered, and the circumstances surrounding all of this as well are very suspicious, but there's something that I can show that is illegal. It's disgusting. It's something that you should never be talking about with a 13-year-old, 14-year-old. And we're going to get to that. So I'm not going to say this guy's real name. I'm going to be referring to him by initials. I'm going to say BW. And so what I'm going to say is BW, Chris Tyson, reached out to this guy when he was 13 years old. Except the problem with that is Chris Tyson started an online friendship with this guy when he was only 13 years old. Now the problem with that is Chris Tyson was born in July of 1996. Lava GS was born on November 12th, 2003. The problem with that is that there's a 7-year age gap. So when you started socializing with this guy online and building an online connection and some sort of friendship, and you talking to this guy, playing video games with him, socializing, he was only 13 years old. He was in middle school and you were in college. You were 20 years old. So that's what I'm going to talk about, is why is it that someone who is in college, who is like a sophomore or junior at that point, what are you doing making friends with a middle schooler? Now, this is all really, really, really bad considering all the other stuff with the art that I talked about, the fact that you're also bisexual, and the fact that you were talking to this guy one-on-one, unattended, and you also had made this guy your moderator. You also had sent this guy Snapchats, which by the way were inappropriate. You talked, some of the subjects that you guys talked about are just inappropriate. He's asking you like these inappropriate questions, and it's someone that is 13, and that you should not be talking to someone that is 13 when you are in college. When you are in college, you should not be talking to any middle schoolers, privately, one-on-one. It is absolutely unacceptable. And the fact that you are also attracted to men as well as women, you should not be talking to young boys that are in middle school while you're in college. That is disgusting. That is gross. That should not be happening. And so what I'm going to say here is I'm going to start talking about the evidence, but that's an overall summary of what happened. I'm going to go over each one in detail. So it starts off with him saying his birthday, November 12th, 2023. I am 20 now. When do I get to retire? And of course, this is Lava GS's Twitch right here. And as you can see, he says that when he was 16, he was in a Mr. Beast video. He asked Jimmy, how hard do you want it? 68 million people have seen it. What I want to start out with is when this guy was really young, he won some sort of competition or was involved, and he DM'd Mr. Beast on Twitter and got sent a knife signed by Mr. Beast. He was like 12 or something. And it was a karambit signed by Mr. Beast. It was a CSGO karambit. Sure, that seems to be the first interaction that I can tell. One thing I want to mention is on Lava GS's Twitch account, he puts under friends, Caleb, Chris. They're mainly just from Discord. So Chris is not a family friend. He's a guy that he met online. And of course, he even puts, how did you meet Mr. Beast? I found his channel a few years ago, back when he was small. He had around 500 subs. So again, this is a guy he met online. He doesn't know this guy. It was a person in college who decided to socialize and make friends with a middle schooler. And so, of course, he's in the video. I made 100 players escape an impossible maze.
evil. Lava, Pluto, assemble!
Hi, how are you?
I need you to make this 10 times harder.
How hard do you want it, Jimmy?
Hard.
Here we go. So this is the part that is pretty distressing here. So just keep in mind how he's talking to him. And I'm sure they'll have some explanation like, oh, you know, I talk to everybody this way. But come on, you can't be talking to someone who's like super young in middle school this way. Because there are some other posts that are definitely more concerning. He says, I really enjoy playing Fortnite. Would you guys want to watch me stream? And Lava GS says, please stream again. And he says, thanks, Dad. You want to moderate it? And he says, I love to. And keep in mind, he was born November 12, 2003. So at this point, Lava, because I'm just going to say Lava, I will not say his real name. Lava would have been 14 years old at that point. He would have been 14. And again, you know, why are you calling a 14-year-old dad? I don't know. It's weird. It's freaking weird. I gotta point it out. I know he might say it's bro talk, but there's a lot of weird bro talk in here, so let's get to that. Keep in mind, this is after he made this guy a moderator. He's like 14 years old at this point. Or 15. Yeah, November 12, 2003. Okay, so at this point, Lava is 15, and you have Chris Tyson, who is playing with this guy online on Uno. And Lava GS says, this is pretty accurate. Me and Mangled Pickled can confirm. And he says, it makes me happy, lol. So, I'm not really sure why he's deciding to play a card game with someone so young. Because keep in mind, at this point, this guy, he was born in 1996 in July. So he would have been 22, 23 years old at that point. And yeah, just talking to someone really young. Again, more stuff, perfect timing. Holy shit, we accidentally predicted this. And he says there's video footage and everything. Man. Now this is the part where I get concerned. I get concerned because this guy that you talk to online, you've been socializing with, you've been playing video games with, he's asking you, Chris, does she know about your hentai addiction? And that's the thing, is this guy at this point, November 12, 2003, he would have been 14 years old. So this guy is asking you these questions and you were talking to him when he was super young. How does he know this? I don't know. But it definitely doesn't look good because this is someone that you were talking to. Again, obviously, I just want to say that this is probably the worst part of all this. And, well, I mean, other than the fact that he brought a camper van to meet up with you, that's also really bad because you were talking to this guy since he was like 13 years old. I think it's really bad that you were talking to this guy since he was 13 years old and he brought a camper van to meet up with you. That's pretty fucking bad. Oh my god. And one thing I want to say right here is this is the part that I have a problem with. Is you made this guy a moderator. You made this guy a moderator of March 26, 2018. This is past that. At this point, you already had been talking to this guy. You're already friends with this guy. You already know this guy. And what is he? What are you saying here? So you post something that says, "Guys, we are so close to our goal. Oh my God, one more Patreon and I'm releasing my nudes." And of course, this is some poorly made joke. I've seen these kinds of jokes online before, where it says, "Oh, if this post gets one like, I'll kill myself," and then the person likes it. It's, you know, this kind of joke. It says a goal of $3. I want to see if anyone is dumb enough to give me money. But of course, it's only you and this other guy in this Twitter thread. And this is the part I have a problem with. This isn't a group chat. This is literally just him and this other guy that he's been talking to and that he's friends with online. He says, Lava says, "I'm your first Patreon, big boy." Now keep in mind, Chris Tyson, he would have been He was born July 1996, so he would have been 22 years old at the time, or around that age. And you have this guy who was born in November 12, 2003. He would have been 14. And of course, here he is. I'm your first Patreon, Big Boy, which he's calling him Big Boy. And he shows that he donated some money. He donated like $1 or something. So it's not enough to meet the goal. And he says, but not $5. Pathetic. Just kidding. Kissy face. Yeah, this is the part that I have a problem with. And I'm going to say this, but if you know this guy is that young and you've been talking to him one-on-one online and you've been socializing with him and making friends, what is this comment supposed to mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that you're telling him that he needs to donate $5 so you can release your nudes or whatever, and you sent him a kissy face. Now, granted, you could say that this is a joke or whatever, this is bro talk, but keep in mind, this is with someone who's 14, and this is someone who's in college talking to like someone that isn't even in high school yet, really, or if he was in high school, he just joined it. Oh boy, because what I'm seeing here is he says, wait till my Twitch revenue comes in, winky face. So you're sending kissy faces, he's sending you a winky face, and the premise is you're trying to give him enough money so you can get his nudes. Already really weird, considering the fact that this is one of your online friends and this massive age difference. And of course, it continues. He says, check again, and he tags you, I think. At least that must be you, or he's tagging you. And of course, he says, I posted some fire nudes for you. Please no share. And this is someone that you're talking to that is 14 years old, that you know is 14. And at the end of the day, you cannot be talking about topics like this with someone that is this young. Even if it's in this joking context, I'm not really sure what the joke is here. But this is someone, keep in mind, you're bisexual, okay? You're talking to a guy that is 14 and you're in college, and the premise here is you guys are joking with each other about sending nudes. That's illegal. You can't do that. And let me just say it like this. It doesn't matter if you're joking or not. Solicitation is solicitation. There should be zero discussion about anybody sending anyone who's 14 years old nudes of any kind. Okay? I don't know. I'm not quite sure if you sent this guy nudes or not. For all I know, this very well could be a joke. But you are talking inappropriately to a guy who is 14 years old and to a guy who you know is 14 years old, and that's what I have a problem with. What I have a problem with here is the way that you're talking to him, the fact that he's asking you about animated pornography, and this is one of your friends with online, which, by the way, you shouldn't even be friends with a middle schooler to begin with because you're in college. You should be going to a bar and trying to meet people or talk to people that are your own age, not to middle schoolers. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? That's weird. And right here, look at this. He says, lol, I just saw. Hold up. I got you, Dad. So again, this guy who's 14 is calling him Big Boy. Chris is calling him Dad. They're sending kissy faces. They're sending winky faces. And the premise is he's sending nudes, basically. And he's telling him to donate more so he can send him nudes. And then he said he sent him nudes. I don't care if you're going to say that this is a joke. This dude's 14 years old and you're in college. You shouldn't even be talking to this guy in the first place. It's sick. I mean it. It's disgusting. It's not okay. It's not okay. I know Jimmy might come out to defend this kind of behavior. Like maybe you guys joke about sending nudes to 14-year-olds often. I don't know if you guys do that. I don't know if you guys joke about sending nudes to 14-year-olds often, but that happened, and it's right here, and it's still up online, and I gotta say, this is some really messed up stuff. You should not be talking to a 14-year-old this way under any context. You shouldn't be saying it in a joking manner. You shouldn't be saying it in any kind of manner, because this is someone that you talk to one-on-one. You shouldn't even be talking to a middle schooler one-on-one. It's freaking weird. And of course, you have other stuff right here. This is a bad way to hide your hentai. I don't know, like, what exactly are you discussing with this guy, man? Why is he asking you about hentai so much? Why is he talking about hentai with you? Again, super young. Oh my god. Love how I set up that embed, shows you looking sexy. I don't really think he should be calling you sexy, but I get it. He's trying to say it makes you look good. Chris, will you be my Valentine? Thank you, Dad! Exclamation point, heart. Thanks, Lava. Love ya. And just in case you wanted more proof of this guy talking to him on Discord, here you go. February 7th, 2019. And of course he's saying Lava's mom tomorrow, and boom. How old would he have been there? Yeah, he would have been 15 at that time. Even says, January 13th, 2019, my friend Lava GS is live on Twitch. Go spam lobster in the chat. Okay, this one here, this one's clearly an edgy meme. It says, objectively, the easiest way to prevent a rape is to start consenting. That's, yeah, just that one's an edgy joke. You have right here this server that he made. There's Chris in the server, and it turns out that Jimmy's in the same server as this guy. I don't know when Jimmy started talking to this guy. I know that he was mainly Chris Tyson's friend. He wasn't really Jimmy's friend, but still, he was also DMing him at one point. But I don't think Jimmy was really this guy's friend. So, and here we're gonna get to the part where he was meeting up with him in person. We're going to talk about that. So, again, I have no idea if anything happened to this guy physically. I can only show that they're talking about inappropriate topics with each other. I can show that there is a vast age difference, that he should not have been socializing with this guy in the first place, but he did. And the fact that he was able, like the moment he was able to meet up with him, he met up with him in person, which I think is highly inappropriate since he was talking to this guy since he was 13, and he's also attracted to men, and the guy's a guy. It's highly inappropriate. The circumstances he showed up in is inappropriate. Here we go. So this one's in Carl's server. Right here. It's a Discord messaging. Discord messaging. He said, I love Carl though. I drove from West Virginia to North Carolina. I'm sitting in a camper in the woods right now. I love Carl though. So Carl is amazing, and that is a fact. True, he hugged me before Chris managed to. Carl sleep. I'm just friends with Carl. I don't need mod. His mod team is already top notch. Why do you want to come to North Carolina? Because winky face, winky face. Carl simps for me. Who doesn't simp for Carl? I think we all simp for Carl. I know, right, Teehee? Offering to buy me ice cream if I do stuff for him. Why do you want to come to North Carolina? And money. Sneak me away from New York to North Carolina, that's why. Carl simps for me. Who doesn't simp for Carl? Boy Jedi, why do you want to hide in my suitcase? Sneak me away from New York to North Carolina, that's why. Wait, who is older, Lava or Boy Jedi? You're both 16, right? I'm 16. Jedi 16. Carl reading all the simping, like, at Carl, see you Tuesday, baby girl. I'm in a camper on a hot spot. Imagine being in the woods. Imagine simping over Carl. And of course, here is the Steam account of Chris Tyson. It is Estrogen Dealer. And they are both friends with each other, Lava GS and Chris Tyson. And as you can see here, the games that they played, it matches up with the tweets that they made. And as you can see, Mangled Pickle is also on there. It matches up with the tweets that they made. Now this one, again, he's gonna have to explain this. So this guy is super young, right? He's been talking to him since he was super young, 13 years old. So why is it that not only are you DMing this guy on Twitter, you're Snapchatting this guy, you're talking one-on-one in a voice chat with this guy, but the kind of Snapchats that you're sending, this is the Snapchat that you sent. He said, I get weird snap from Chris, and it's a picture of him making a weird face next to an American flag, and it says, coming for America. Now, you might think that, oh man, this must be some weird 4th of July joke. Nope, it's not 4th of July. You can clearly see the date right there. This guy would have been like 15 at this point. And why are you sending a 15-year-old a message saying coming for America? Why are you DMing a 15-year-old anyways on Snapchat? Why are you doing that? Why are you DMing this guy who you've been talking to since he was 13 on Snapchat? Oh my God, he said he's a different man off camera, is all I can say. Of course, just to show how much that he likes this guy, Chris Tyson, he said, they're talking about profile pictures. He said he put his profile picture as Chris Tyson from Mr. Beast. And here's another Twitter message, here's another Discord message. He said, Chris DM'd me on Twitter asking me to come help him on Beast's stream. And here's another one. And here's a screenshot of Chris Tyson talking to this guy. This ain't true. And this screenshot is Chris Tyson talking one-on-one with him. And at this point, he would have been 16. And here we go. Here is the picture of them meeting up together. I'm gonna censor his face. And as you can see right there, there's Carl right there. There's Chris Tyson right there. Chris Tyson was talking to this guy since he was 13. Chris Tyson was in college. And of course, the moment he was able to drive, he takes a camper van out in the middle of the woods, which, by the way, very secluded area. Let me talk about that. Anytime that someone is taking a camper van somewhere, bringing it out in the desert or the middle of the woods, it's very unnecessary because there's RV parks, there's the Walmart parking lot, there's plenty of areas you can go instead of going to a place that's very unfamiliar to you to camp out there, especially in a secluded area. So the real question is, if he was talking to Chris Tyson, who is interested in both men and women, since he was 13 years old and Chris Tyson was in college, why did he take a camper van out to see him and take it out in the middle of the woods in this secluded area? And then he met up with him like 2 days later, like the picture was posted. It's, why did this happen? When you're talking about an inappropriate topic with someone who you know is 14 years old, and you meet up in person, it all looks very suspicious. And that is why when we interviewed him, we were trying to ask if he had been molested or if someone had talked inappropriately to him, because we genuinely believe that something might have happened to him. Although he claims nothing happened, very well, there might have been nothing that ever happened, but still, talking about inappropriate topics with someone that you know is a middle schooler or someone that just entered in high school when you're like 7 years older, it is highly inappropriate, and that is illegal. That's not legal. It's not a legal thing to do. This whole discussion or joke revolving around sending him nudes or whatever, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. You should have never participated in that. You shouldn't even be talking to this guy. I think that's something that everyone can agree on, that you shouldn't be talking to middle schoolers when you're in college, but I guess you don't seem to think that because you did that. One thing I want to mention is how I know that when he was in high school is he put it on his LinkedIn account. He said that he entered into high school of August of 2018 and graduated on May 2022. And of course, to end this, I want to say this is a clip of where it's him on stream. He's being a moderator, and I guess he messes with them on his stream because he plays the clip of PewDiePie saying he plays a clip and makes him think he's going to play the clip of him saying the N-word, but, you know, it was a gotcha moment. So, yeah, I mean, it's not much, but I think that's it. That's everything. It's everything I want to cover. If there's something I forgot, I can talk about it later. I'm just going to give an official statement about this. This is my statement to him. I'm going to talk to you directly. I'm going to say that again. This is not, I do not have any ill will towards you. I'm sorry if any of this has offended you in some way. This is out of genuine concern because these things, they're not normal. And there's nothing wrong with being abnormal, but this is the bad kind of abnormal. And me and Vertius are genuinely concerned if something happened. So if something happened, we're always free to talk. And, you know, I do think that if something happened, you know, you should say something, but you're claiming that nothing happened, so something very well might have not happened. But the fact that someone is in college, socializing and making friends with a middle schooler is highly inappropriate, especially because he's also bisexual and he's attracted to men as well. And I want to say that, you know, this whole bro talk thing here, where you guys are commenting about like the Patreon thing and him releasing nudes and him sending nudes to you while you were 14 and while he was like 22, 23, that is just, yeah, I think he was 22, but that is highly inappropriate. That should have never happened. You shouldn't be talking with someone that young to begin with. And I'm sorry if your feelings were hurt in any way, shape, or form. I want you to know that I don't have any ill intention here against you. And at the end of the day, the only reason I did any of this and was trying to get this information out is because of genuine concern. And I want you to know that, you know, I'm trying to keep your identity. I'm trying to, what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to bring up any, I don't know if you have any sort of trauma with this. I don't know, I know you're just fine. I know you might want to just say that he didn't do anything wrong, that there's nothing weird about him. You can go ahead and make these statements, but I'm just saying I'm showing what I can prove, and what I can prove is that he has all these interactions with all these inappropriate pedophilic art stuff, and the way he was talking to you was not appropriate in the slightest when it came to this, and he knew how old you were. And I'm just saying, I'm genuinely concerned about the situation. I'm not trying to make some sort of, I'm not trying to get views off of this. I'm not trying to go, oh man, this is my big hit. I'm not trying to grift. I'm genuinely concerned. That is why that's why we were talking to you, because we wanted to know if something happened to you. And again, if nothing happened to you, then then nothing happened to you. But again, we don't know. We don't know, because at the end of the day, these are very powerful people. Mr. Beast is like worth 500 million or something. That's his net worth. And Chris Tyson is a part of that. He's been a part of that for a very long time, Mr. Beast brand. And I could understand if it's been very intimidating if something ever did happen. I understand I look like the asshole, but I want to say that it was never my intention to come across that way, and that I was put in this awkward situation where what else could I have done? I'm only just trying to do what I believe is right. I believe I'm justified in doing this. Again, if you want to talk about this with me, I'm free to talk to you about this. I think everything, you were genuinely a very nice person. You didn't do anything wrong. You were completely innocent in all of this. And I think it's terrible, the fact that I have to mention you because I don't want any sort of bad publicity going your way, because you don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. You didn't do anything wrong. And that's the part that concerns not only me, but also Verdius, because he doesn't want to talk about you at all. I'm going to say this, Verdius does not want to talk about you at all, because he doesn't want to bring up someone that isn't, that is going to be very upset by this. He doesn't want to upset you, and because we don't know what happened to you, and you guys met under very suspicious circumstances, everything leading up to it, the fact that he has all these social media communication that he really shouldn't be with someone so young, and the fact that you were talking about this inappropriate topic with each other. That is why we had very great concern. And I want you to know that it's not like we were trying to be bad guys here. We were trying to do the opposite and try to see if something really did happen. And it's only out of concern. And I just want to say that I'm sorry if this has hurt you in any way, shape, or form. We don't want anything to happen, That's the thing is, of course, you're free if you disagree with any of the statements I've made about like his interest in this artwork, or if you disagree with anything that I've covered involving you. You are free to talk to me about it. Yeah, closing remark, I never wanted to be put in this position. I never wanted to cover, I never wanted to be put in this awkward position. But as you can see, from my viewpoint and my circumstances and everything, like, I had to do what I know is right, and that is what is right. Is this person is in the children's entertainment industry. They're kissing their son on the lips. They're into this weird pedophilic art. Obviously, that makes me and everyone else I've shown very concerned. And of course, there's people that I know that think I did the right thing by contacting you and trying to see if something happened. So I'm sorry if there were any buttons that were pushed. I mean this with full sincerity. I did not mean any ill will or harm. And that is my statement to you, Lava. Chris Tyson, and this is my message to Chris Tyson, if you disagree with anything that I have brought up, that I have substantiated with evidence, you are free to contact me and we can go on something and debate each other, because I am always free for an open debate, because I believe these things that I have substantiated are true. And if you think that I am misunderstood and that I misunderstood these things, you are free to debate them and talk to me about them. But the evidence that I have gathered is very strong, very concrete, and very solid. And I really don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think you're going to change my mind on this. But I'm open to reason, and if you want to talk about this, we can talk about this, because I'm not going to run and hide. I'm going to be out in the open. So if you want to talk to me about this and say that I got something wrong, you are free to have me on whatever live stream or debate there is, and you can talk to me about this, and we can bring up all the nitty-gritty details. But the evidence is really strong, so I don't think there's really a good argument or explanation for any of this, because at the end of the day, when I first was looking into Lava, I thought this guy, I'm like, no. I was like, no, this guy is not like a random guy. I was like, he's got to be a family friend. But then I saw the Twitch page, and this guy is just a random guy. You didn't know this guy. You just talked to a middle schooler and made friends with him because I guess he liked Mr. Beast or whatever, but it's highly inappropriate if you do that. That should not happen. Closing remarks. If you had a problem with anything I said, you're free to debate me on it. This is my message to Jimmy from Mr. Beast. I'm going to be honest. I honestly don't really care about you that much, because you're not really too involved with this. Yeah, you oversee Chris Tyson, but yeah, it's just like you're not really that involved, other than the fact that you might have some association with the pedophile art stuff. I don't know. You're just in the same frame as that poster, but so were a lot of other people. So again, I know some people on the Discord said that you like Shadman. Take it with a grain of salt, though. I'm taking that with a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, like I said, from what I can tell, you were roped into it from Chris Tyson, is what it looks like. Because the only time you've ever interacted with Shadman was when you were commenting on a comment from Chris Tyson. So it seems to me that you weren't really too interested in this guy. So you're only there because of Chris, is what it seems like. And like I said, I do think it's inappropriate that you had someone that says that they're the opposite gender near kids, because I don't think kids should be exposed to that sort of thing. And I know you work around kids. You were at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. You brought them there, which in my opinion, I think that was pretty disgusting. But at the end of the day, I'm not a fan of your content. And I'm not saying your content's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, me personally, I'm just not too interested in it. And again, I think you do great work. You do amazing work when it comes to charity. I think what you did when you cured a bunch of people from blindness, you and your organization and your group of people, I think that was a really good thing that you did. And I want to say that, when you find out this information, I'm going to assume that you didn't know anything about this, but when you find out, if you still just don't really do, if there's no response or no anything, and you're just perfectly okay with that, I don't even know what to think about that at that point, because I don't think you're okay with this, especially because you work around kids, you work in the children's entertainment industry. And I just want to say that, and I understand that you have a lot more experience than I do when it comes to management, but if I were in that position, I would not have that guy around kids. I would set him up with another job, because I know you do this, and set him up with another job somewhere that is not in the vicinity of kids, and just have him do some other line of work, because people need to eat at the end of the day. He still needs to earn a living, even though all this creepy, weird stuff, and even him talking about that inappropriate topic with this guy, at the end of the day, you really can't have that guy near kids, in my opinion. After everything I've seen, it's terrible, and I just want to be through with this. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I've been talking about this for a year, and I have my life to live. There's things I want to do, and frankly, you guys were never a part of that equation until I was just bestowed the task to just get this out. And again, I don't have anything against you, Jimmy. I think the work that I see you do is fine work. It's great. It's good charity. I don't have anything against you other than the fact that you seem to be okay with having someone that says they're the opposite gender near kids. I don't think that that's a good thing, but again, that's one thing it's just one thing that we disagree on. That's it. At the end of the day, like I said, I don't have anything against you, Jimmy. I don't have anything against anything that you guys do. It's just this situation I've been thrown into has been very awkward. It's been very hard on me, and I don't want, I've been put in this very awkward position, and I did things I don't want to have to do, but I did them because I felt I had to do them and that it was the right thing to do. And I understand that it doesn't make me look good, and it's bad for my reputation, but again, I guess I was pushed by some kind of guilty conscience or something. I don't know. But it's just crazy. I guess that's my message to you. I don't know you personally, and I'm not really trying to look forward to get to know you at all. That was never my intention. And I understand that you definitely aren't gonna like me because of this whole thing, but again, I never expected to speak with you in my life, and I don't expect to get to know you. I do think what you do is great, but what I want to do in life and what you want to do, we're just two separate people. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, I understand there's a lot of people on the platform that want to, like, meet you or get to know you, but I'm just not interested in that sort of thing. And this whole experience has been a journey, and I understand that it may harm your reputation, but I still feel as if it's necessary to get this out about everything regarding that you know that's happened. And I'm sorry if this hurt your reputation. I did not intend on the, you know, it's just something that I had to release. And, you know, at the end of the day, I'm sorry if anything that I'm releasing hurts you, if you are not responsible for any of it. But at the end of the day, how could you have not known any of this was going on? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you didn't know any of this was going on. But keep doing great work. Keep doing the charity stuff. That's all good. But, you know, I don't have anything against you, but like I said, everything that's happened is just, it was not a pleasant experience. So I guess that's all I want to say is I know you personally don't have much to do with it other than just keeping this guy on, but yeah, I don't know. It's just terrible. But yeah, like I said, you know, I guess I'll say the same thing I said to Chris or Ava, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, you're free to debate me if you think that I made a mistake or if I'm misunderstood or something bad happened. I mean, obviously, I know you're not going to debate me, but I'm just saying that, man, I just want this to be over. I guess what I'm saying is I have no ill will towards you. I have no hard feelings against you. I just want this, I just need this information to get out. It's been a pain in the ass. And I'm sure you can understand. I'm sure you can understand. So, that being said, I think that's going to conclude all the parts and all the messages. I'm sure that there's more stuff I haven't covered just because so much has happened. I tried my best to cover everything I had. I've just tried to be genuine and sincere and honest. I can't talk about every single thing because, like I said, there are contracts, there's police investigations, and no, it's not against Chris Tyson. Let me just throw that out there. It's not against Chris Tyson. That being said, I'm just glad I can finally get this over with. It's been weighing on me a long time.